In today's video, we are going to be doing a lot of trapping. Starting off with our nest raiders like possums, skunks, and raccoons, and then working our way all the way up to a bobcat. And then once we catch a bobcat, since it's like the one thing I haven't eaten as far as wild game, we're gonna be testing out how bobcat tastes. It is the first stop of the morning, checking traps, guys, and we got us a skunk. I ain't caught one of them yet this year. That's cool. That is so cool. Look at that.
I don't feel like getting sprayed, so we're gonna see how we handle this.
That is so cool. Can't believe it. Now I gotta decide if I'm gonna try to like sell it or if I'm keeping it for myself. His colors aren't the best in the world, but skunks are super pretty. Raccoons are a lot of fun to catch. One, because there's a lot of them, and two, because they're pretty easy to catch. After I caught a couple raccoons this season, I don't really have a use for all of them. I mean, you can't really sell them for much, so I decided to take my buddies out to catch their first raccoons. And when you combine raccoons with dog-proof traps, it's a good way for beginners to get into trapping. It's easy to trap, you can teach to set on sign, and if you have raccoon sign, there's a pretty good chance you're gonna catch it. It didn't take but a night for my buddies to catch their first raccoons ever and to give them their first taste of trapping, which that's what it's all about, is to get everyone into it and show them how fun it can really be. And when you start off with something that's simple and you can see the whole process in that quick of a time, I think that can really build a strong interest in a lot of beginner trappers. All right, guys, so the trapping lately has been super slow. Like, this weather has just sucked. It's been freezing, thawing, raining, and all the in between. But we finally caught a break. I'm seeing a coon down here. There he is. Caught him in a dog proof. It looks like probably a pretty good sized one. Oh yeah, that's a big raccoon. It's a pretty good sized one. All right, guys, and right here, we have coon number 2 for the day. Trying to catch a fisher in this, but we'll take a coon. We did not get skunked this morning. Got a pretty big possum right here. I'll take that. Had a nice little cubby set right here. He is not a happy one. If you've been trapping for a while and you're catching a bunch of raccoons or possums, it's easy to get discouraged, but really, it's just another animal. You know, they're pretty cool all around. Everything is so different, especially where I live. I mean, the difference between something like a raccoon to a possum to a bobcat or a coyote is so different. So it's just a different critter that you get to trap. And for every possum and raccoon that you catch, it is one less nest raider that's gonna be out there eating game bird eggs and thrashing up their nests. All right, guys, we're out here checking traps this morning. I heard a bunch of like clinging and clanging around. Got us a red fox. That's a pretty one. Oh, he's nice and dark. He's not super happy right now. Look at that guy. He's got a super dark muzzle. He's pretty. Yeah, he ain't going nowhere. Look at that. That's awesome. Here you go, guys. Cut a red fox at a cable this morning. Had a trail here, so I blocked off half of it. Put some of this bamboo junk. Had a little trail right there. And we got him. Today is the day that we're gonna go hard on setting some traps. Deer season's starting to wrap up here. I'm still gonna go out here a little bit and do some out-of-state deer hunting, but for around home, we're pretty much done. And I am loaded, guys, like absolutely loaded. I started off really just kind of targeting the nest raiders with the dog-proof traps, because where I was hunting, or trapping I should say, there was a lot of houses and people had pets and stuff. I didn't want to be catching anyone's dog or cat, but it's kind of hard to see, but we got a lot of trapping stuff in there. We're gonna be trying out different baits, and we're gonna be putting out as many as we can. We've only got a couple hours left of daylight, but you know, we're gonna do what we can. Got some frozen deer meat right here I'm gonna take as well for some bait. Might not be able to get it pulled apart, but we're gonna try. And that right there is a chicken that I found hitting the road. Instead of letting them go to waste, we're gonna try to use them for some traps. So anyways, I'm gonna get going and we'll see you guys at the first set. For these bobcats, we're just gonna be doing some basic sets. With the ground being frozen, it does make it a little bit harder, but it's the same process, whether the ground is frozen or not. You're gonna dig out a spot that's just big enough for your trap to sit into and cover it with as little material as you possibly can. You don't want there to be so much on top of it that when the trap goes off, maybe a piece of dirt or a rock gets stuck in it. So you just want to keep that a nice fine layer. I do like to put some kind of pan cover underneath there. I was using, I believe it is freezer paper, and then we're just digging out some holes to stuff our bait and lure into. If you guys want a more in-depth video on how I'm doing these sets, be sure to let me know. But one tip that I can give you right now is to have bright colored tools. So I'm using a bright orange Klein hammer, and the main reason for that is with the snow, it is very easy to lose things. So I always try to make sure that my tools are bright colors to make it a little bit harder to lose. I've always heard that you can bait bobcats with pretty much anything. The bigger, the more obnoxious your set is. I've heard that it's more of an eyesore to them and it'll draw them in. So that's what we're going to be testing out here. We're going to be doing a super dramatic trail with a super dramatic cubby set with branches all over the place. And then we're even going to hang a CD to see how much we can get away with catching a bobcat. That is pretty serious if you ask me. We're going to be using some Wreck-It Ralph here, seeing if he can catch us a bobcat. The bad news is that Wreck-It Ralph did not catch us a bobcat. But the good news is within our first week, we had a bobcat trapped. Jacob and I were on the road and I got a notification on my phone that something had went past the camera. And of course, it was a bobcat. I texted my dad saying, hey, there might be a bobcat in the set. He went up there 5 minutes later and there was a cat in the trap. We've got plenty of videos of it, but I was not there for the initial trap check. There she is, guys. Here's a better look at the old bobcat here. Not a big one. I'm gonna get her weighed, but I'm thinking she's probably around 20 pounds. I was beyond excited to have caught this guy. And it's funny because the bobcats we have, I know in other parts of the country they get a lot of spots. Ours almost have like a silver brown coat and then like a spotted belly. That's actually a fairly spotted belly for ones that I've seen around here. But literally, like other parts of the country, I think mainly western cats are almost fully spotted like a leopard. We have to get a specific tag for these. It's like a plastic ring that they stick in the eye. We're getting that put on tonight. I wish I had my reaction, but I was riding with my buddy Jacob and I checked the camera and, you know, the rest is history. But I am super excited about this. I'm going to get this skinned and tanned to hang. I mean, you can sell bobcats, but for me, with us only being allowed to get one a year, for me, it's more worth it to spend however much it is to get a tan because they are probably my favorite animal. Fur bearer for sure. They're an awesome creature. What do you guys think? Should I try eating this thing? I wasn't even thinking about doing a catch and cook on this guy, but that's like one of the only things that I've caught and not eaten yet. I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to try eating a bobcat. All right, guys, here we go. That right there is baked bobcat. It smells fine. Honestly, it does. And we marinated this in that, I think it was like an all game or a wild game marinade for probably 3 whole days, you know. So that, I think, did something to it. It doesn't look super tough. It could be, but I also let it sit out for a long time, too, to make sure it was fully cooked. But we're just going to dig in here. This right here is backstrap. Right there. All right. There's nothing wrong with that. I know you guys probably think it's weird, and it kind of is, but it's like a pork. There's actually quite a bit of fat to it. It's weird. Like, look at that right there. Pork or chicken. Yeah, I cooked it a little bit, so it is a little dry, but there's actually a lot of fat, at least in the back strap. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. There's some leg meat. I'm gonna say more like pork, probably. Like, is what it's reminding me of, is a porky taste. But there's actually quite a bit of meat on here. Like, look at all that. And I overcook everything, especially things like a bobcat, because you never know if they could have something. But other than that thought in my head, the taste itself is not bad. Anybody would eat this. It tastes very similar to pork, like I said. And there's nothing wrong with this. Honestly, like if you just picked all this off the bones and put it in a pile and you asked me to rate it, I'd probably give it like a 9. It's honestly pretty good. It's weird. Like, it's so weird because this is a bobcat right here. But it's actually pretty good. Subscribe for more content.